Going into every college football season, we always think we know what guys will be starting and what guys will be good. But as history always repeats itself, there's always guys that break out and young guys emerge. In today's video, we'll be talking about the new star for the Missouri Tigers, Connor Bazelak. Against LSU, he threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and had the second best completion percentage in Missouri history. In only his second career start, Bazelak looks like the future of the Missouri Tigers, and he has so much potential with the team moving forwards. As you guys know, I'm a Mizzou fan, and I've been really high on this kid since we signed him. Today I will talk about why I think he is a star, his story to getting to Mizzou, and why he is just scratching the surface with his potential. After being named the SEC Freshman of the Week and getting attention from the likes of Kirk Herbstreit, a lot of people have started to talk about Connor Bazelak, and today, you guys will find out and learn his entire story. But first, I've recently changed how I've done things on YouTube, so be sure to drop a comment and let me know what you think of today's video. If you love college football or the NFL, then this is 100% the channel for you, so go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you get alerted every time I upload and you never miss a video of mine. With that being said, let's get started with the rise of Connor Bazelak and why he is a star. Athleticism runs in the Bazelak family, as his dad is a local Ohio legend and he played college basketball for Dartmouth. He has 2 sisters, and one plays basketball for Duquesne and the other plays volleyball for Duquesne. He loved football from a young age and always took a liking to the quarterback position. Eventually, when he got to high school, his team ran the wishbone offense, so he didn't get to flash a ton of his passing potential, but he was still a guy on the rise. Eventually, he got good enough, and at 6'4", scouts started to notice him. He became the top pro-style quarterback in the state of Ohio, and offers started to pile in. As you guys know, Mizzou's coach now is Drinkwitz, and he actually had a connection with him that went all the way back to high school. At the time, Drinkwitz was the offensive coordinator for NC State, and NC State recruited Connor very hard. Connor was super smart and ahead of the curve though, and knew NC State really wasn't an option for him because he said Drinkwitz was not going to be there for very long. And he was right, as Drinkwitz would take the head coaching job at Appalachian State the very next year. He got offers from schools such as Georgia, Purdue, North Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Duke, and Missouri, but eventually he narrowed his list to his top 3 of Mizzou, Duke, and North Carolina. He went down to Missouri for an official visit, and coming out of it, he said it just felt like home. He felt comfortable there, and he really liked Derek Dooley, the then offensive coordinator for the Tigers. He would end up committing there, but he would have to reconsider his decision just a few weeks later. Because of a rogue tutor, Missouri was hit with some sanctions, some scholarship reductions, and they were banned from playing in the postseason during the 2019 college football season. So maybe Missouri wasn't the right fit for him. He ended up thinking it over and talking with some of the other Missouri commits, and he decided that he wanted to stick with Mizzou and that it was the place for him. But he would be hit with another thing that would question too. He threw the ball a couple times for Ryan Day at Ohio State, but they would end up telling him not to wait around for him. Basically, that meant he was one of the Buckeyes' backup options, and they told him to just do what he wanted. I think if Ohio State would have offered him, that could have changed the game, but he was dead set on being a Missouri Tiger. He had a lot of success in high school as he led his team to a 13-2 record and played alongside a running back named John Bivens, who's actually at Nebraska right now. Bazelak had ideal size, a good arm, and a ton of potential, but because of that wishbone-style offense, he wasn't able to show it. Scouts did see enough to bump him up to a 4-star recruit, but he was definitely going under the radar, and he was actually the last 4-star recruit in the 2019 class. According to 24/7 Sports, he was the number 13 pro-style quarterback, the number 2 player in the state of Ohio, and the 373rd best player in the class of 2019. He committed to playing the pro-style offense of Derek Dooley, the former Tennessee coach, and basically Dooley promised he'd be ready for the NFL if he went there. With Drew Lock graduating the year prior, Bazelak wanted to come in and start as a true freshman, but the Mizzou staff had other ideas. After Kelly Bryant led Clemson to the college football playoff, Trevor Lawrence took his spot in 2018, and Bryant was off to find another school. Connor ended up playing very sparingly at first, but Kelly Bryant would get injured and that would change everything. Unfortunately, Taylor Powell was given the starting job, but Powell was not very good. Finally, in the last game of the season, Connor was named the starter against Arkansas, where he looked really good and completed 7 of 9 passes for 80 yards in just the second quarter. That right there is when I knew this guy was legit, and as a Mizzou fan, I really wanted him to be the guy moving forward. But he would be hit with a major setback. After getting piled on by 3 Arkansas defenders, he ended up tearing his ACL. Mizzou would thankfully win that game, but I was very sad for Connor. The day after he suffered the injury, Mizzou fired Barry Odom, and Bazelak told himself that he would recover in time to compete for the starting job in 2020. He'd play in 3 games as a freshman and preserved his eligibility because of the 4-game redshirt rule that was implemented going into the season. It would take a while to recover, and he spent the entire quarantine rehabbing just to be ready in time for fall camp, and he would be thrusted into a quarterback battle. With new head coach Drinkwitz now here, it was going to come down to former top 100 recruit and TCU transfer Sean Robinson and Connor Bazelak for the starting job, and many expected Sean to land it. Going into their week 1 matchup with Alabama, they didn't name a starter, but Sean was the first guy on the field. Robinson looked absolutely lost on the field, and it just didn't look like he fit the style of offense, so Connor did get a few drives to prove what he could do. He could complete 7 of 14 passes, and he had a rushing touchdown on the final play of the game. Personally, I thought Bazelak was the better player going into the season, and I really wanted him to land the job. He insisted on playing both Sean and Connor, but against Tennessee, Bazelak finally proved he was the guy as he took control and threw for over 200 yards in their loss. He looked like the guy moving forward, and with Sean Robinson getting injured, he was named the starter against LSU. With that injury to Sean I talked about, Connor started against LSU, and he proved he was the guy for the future. He completed 29 of 34 passes for 406 yards and 4 touchdowns without a single interception. The defense held LSU 4 times on the goal line and won the game, and Coach Drinkwitz and Mizzou got their first signature win. Connor looked super poised, confident, and skilled as he picked apart the struggling LSU defense en route to a big win. He won SEC Freshman of the Week honors, got a lot of attention from the media, and Kirk Herbstreit even named him as one of the top 6 performers of the week in college football. So why is this guy a star? Well, he went 29 of 34 for 406 yards and 4 touchdowns, and that right there shows his potential. He only threw 5 incompletions and went toe-to-toe with a team who was the defending national champions and a team with a ton of talent. His completion percentage was 85.3%. That's the best ever completion percentage against a ranked opponent or an FBS opponent. And that's a mark that's also a Mizzou freshman record and ranks 2nd in school history. He became the first freshman to throw 4 touchdown passes since Matty Mock all the way back in 2013. And at 6'4", he is the ideal size and frame to be a good quarterback. He has a super good arm, and he looks like an upperclassman out there in the field with all the poise and confidence he has. The team has apparently been praising him for his ability to be a leader and to stay calm and poised under pressure. He'll only get better from here as he's in an offensive system that'll favor him, and he should have plenty of games like the LSU one to come. Drinkwitz is a guy who's known as the quarterback whisperer as he helped develop Ryan Finley at NC State and Zach Thomas at Appalachian State. And Connor is the next guy for Drinkwitz to develop. With the NCAA COVID rule, he'll have plenty of time to get better as this season technically doesn't even count for him. Plus, Drinkwitz is recruiting better than any coach in Missouri history, and if he improves that offensive line and continues to get more playmakers, this will only make Connor's numbers go up. Overall, even though he's a redshirt freshman, he has the it factor and he looks like a guy who's going to be the future of the team. I don't want to jump the gun too early, but he really looks like Drew Lock did when he was starting out. But we do got to cool the jets a little bit as he's only had 1 breakout game so far, but I truly do think he has so much potential, and he's already made Mizzou history. He's always kind of been an underdog and an undervalued guy, so I think he's going to be the kind of guy that breaks out and proves he's a star in the SEC. He's only going to get better in time with the recruiting, and I honestly believe he will be in the NFL someday. As a Mizzou fan, I totally believe he's the future of Mizzou football, and it's not just me who thinks that. If you guys think Connor's a young star, or just enjoyed today's video, be sure to smash that like button as that'll help more people be able to see the video, and I'll be able to make more content like this for you guys. The better these videos do, the more time I can put into this channel and the more content I can bring you. So just go ahead and do that, and also drop a comment on who I should do next, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you're still here, this is my 4th video in my Meet the Future series, so check out my other 3 videos about quarterbacks who are going to be good in the future.